Who would have thought the best Star Wars in years would not be on the big screen, but on your telly or maybe your little smartphone? I know, and the main hero, the one that we all love, This Is the Way, looks like a certain bounty hunter who fell into a pit back in the day. That's right, The Mandalorian is the best thing to happen to Star Wars. Season 1 came out last year. We're on Season 2 right now. What did we think of it back then? What do we think of the new season now? Find out after this.
As you may or may not know, we are actually quite big Star Wars fans. So we've actually been keeping up with The Mandalorian. I've been watching season 1, and we're still in the process of watching season 2, as not all of them are out yet. So today we're going to be talking about Mandalorian season 1 and what we've already seen of season 2 and what we liked about them.
Yeah, so Mandalorian, as you know, is the Disney Plus, the first ever Star Wars TV show ever. And I'm I'm a first generation Star Wars fan, the tail end, because the first film came out a year or two before I was born, but Return of the Jedi was my jam. I was seeing that in the cinema and caught up with the other movies because they were on every Christmas. Of course, I trained Jolene as my Padawan learner in the all things Star Wars, all Star Wars movies, Clone Wars, animation, everything. And then, of course, these are my younglings who I trained and reared from the beginning. They didn't have a choice but to be... Who's yawned on the thing?
I'm sorry.
I trained as my Padawan apprentice, and of course these three here are my younglings who, if you look close, you'll see a little braid where they've got the little youngling knot. You know, actually the Padawan knot. See, I'm messing up my Star Wars references. But anyway, they're Jedis in training, and they are, just to put a little bit of a meter there, the original trilogy for me, ding, 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 high the Richter scale. The prequel trilogies, quite low. Clone Wars, bing, is above. It justifies the prequel movies for me. And the sequel trilogies, sort of above, but probably below Clone Wars. There was lots of stuff I really liked and, to love in the sequel trilogy. And, you might see a little video of me talking about how I actually was in one of the sequel trilogy movies, but I'll tell you that in another video. But essentially, the sequels were mixed bag. We love some of the characters, the special effects were marvellous, and there's some exciting sequences, but generally, I think they dropped the ball by round 3. Would you agree?
Yeah.
But what hasn't disappointed in any way, shape or form has been The Mandalorian. Again, the first TV live action Star Wars show. I remember George Lucas back in the day wanted to do a show, but it'd be too expensive. But thank goodness for technology, eh? They made it cheap enough to do big time movie special effects on tiny little screens, or like probably watching on your iPhone or your Android, something like that. So what did you guys think of The Mandalorian?
I think that the Mandalorian kind of had like more of a Star Warsy film and the Star Warsy feel than the newer movies were like what do you call it? The Force Awakens.
The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. Like it had more of a consistent like feel of it. Like it felt a bit more like the original movies, and like you were a bit more interested in the storyline because it was like more of a bit of a mystery to like the Mandalorian. Obviously, because like he keeps the mask on, so there's like different sorts you can do because like there's a bit of like secrecy and like also and like a bit of mystery to him and like the different stuff that goes on. But also it's a time period where it hasn't actually been shown in Star Wars movies before because it's like after Return of the Jedi, but then like before The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So it's like a time period they can kind of play with because you haven't actually seen it on the screen before.
Yeah, it's very much like a Western, even though Westerns like Cowboys and Indians inspired some of Star Wars, the same with World War II movies, and of course like Japanese samurai films. This is an all-out Western, like the lone gunslinger riding into town, doing a different mission every episode. Who can he trust? Who's going to betray him?
Yeah.
You know, what villain is he going to meet this time? You know, is he going to be able to pull off the job?
Yeah.
And of course, the other star of Mandalorian, Baby Yoda.
Oh, Yoda.
You
He's
know?
my favourite character in the whole.
Yeah,
He's actually
50
really
years
good.
old and still a baby.
Oh, I think he's
It's like
When
Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian, like you don't know like who they are. Like both of them have a mystery to them.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we get the name of the Mandalorian, Jin Darin, and we know that he's been raised by, well, we'll get into that in a minute, but, you know, a group of Mandalorians post the Siege of Mandalore. And he's, the first mission he takes in the first episode from an old Imperial warlord, there's still a remnant of Imperial scattered because they're in the Outer Rim. He picks up the bounty, and it turns out to be this Baby Yoda at the end of the episode. And of course,
I mean, obviously he's not actually called that.
Yeah.
But
But
say
the child.
and
They
Yoda
did,
that
yeah.
everyone knows
Yeah.
from Star Wars.
he's not literally Yoda who's suddenly become a child
Yeah.
again, reincarnated.
That what I
It's called
actually
the
thought at
child.
the beginning. I thought
Did
the
you actually?
yeah, I did.
I wonder if his
Oh,
whole
Yoda.
like species, like their whole species, is on some planet.
Well, it will. He didn't come out of nowhere. Yoda would have had a people. It's just
Yeah.
where they are. But what's interesting is obviously it's this cute little baby looks like Yoda, the child, and there's a robot who's also on the same bounty, IG-11,
Yeah.
and of course, yeah, he's going to
Yeah.
kill. And then the twist is spoilers, but it came out last year. The Mandalorian takes care of business and shoots IG-11 in the head.
At first, I thought he shot Baby Yoda.
I don't think they would do that. I don't think
Yeah,
that's
they
savage.
would not. Everyone would
That's
be
savage.
crying.
Dark. Well, that's a dark, a bit dark.
But it
man.
kind of made it seem
Oh
like.
yeah, it did it?
Because
Because you just
you
had
just
the
see
gun.
the light.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do that a lot in the Mandalorian. Like you hear the gunshot or you see it,
Don't
but then you don't.
Show.
It's only the after bit where you see someone walking out and the other person
like
is
the-
like, oh, that's what happened.
Which is actually like westerns. It's that whole thing of you just a gun is so fast. Oh, where did it go? And then you see, oh, someone dropped. They got a bullet in the head or a bullet in them somewhere. So I think what was magical about the Mandalorian season 1 is it felt like it could have come out in 1983, around the time of the original trilogy. Obviously the makers were fans.
minus the CGI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. But then, some things are puppets. So what was cool is that they mixed modern special effects with some old school style. So it feels, unlike with the prequels, they went all digital with digital Yoda and it felt like a video game. This felt like it fit into that world. Obviously, Mandalorian looks like Boba Fett. That classic Mandalorian armour, which is really cool on screen. We mentioned in another review, we mentioned Rocky, and of course Apollo Creed himself, Carl Weathers, is in it, who's
Yeah.
brilliant,
Oh yeah.
as the one who gives Mandalorian his bounties.
Yeah.
Is it Cara Dune? Cara Dune is
Oh,
a
yeah,
character
yeah,
who's a
yeah.
female kind of ex-rebel shock trooper
Oh,
who
yeah,
partners
yeah.
with. There's some great episodes, great directors like what's his name, Taika Waititi, who made Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
He shoots the last episode, which is absolutely bonkers. It's mental, really, really good. There's an episode by the director Deborah Chow that she shot, which was probably the best episode. When all the Mandalorians come in, to save Mando, and it's just like your action figures just thrown up in the air, imagination gone wild.
And what I like about the Mandalorian is that like in every episode there's like something, a new adventure, something new that happens in it.
Yeah, like say for example, what do you call it? The Mandalorian wants to his goal is to get the child back
Yeah.
to the Jedi. But so say he'll meet someone and he'll hear that they have information on how to find a Mandalorian. So
He goes to that
so then he goes to
person.
that place and for you to get this information you have to do this for me.
Yeah.
Like the one where
Like
he had
a
to
quest.
defeat the
Yeah.
like the one where he had to defeat the beast, and that whole episode would be about that. Then the end he'd find the information. But quite a few times it's not as much as he thought it would be. So he fully did all of that in most of the episode. It's I have to go here now, and I have to go here.
And he'd have allies like the character Quill. These guys are some they're some naughty little younglings here. I think they're on the Sith side, not the Jedi. I'm like, Quill is, I have spoken, but one of the most brilliantly
It was just the music.
captivated characters in Star Wars for many years. You know, a loyal,
Man.
a generous, a loyal, a
didn't really see with
courageous
that.
character. And when he died, you know, spoiler,
He can't speak
with
now.
all the smoke where he got
No,
shot,
he
they
was
were just
too slow
laughing.
on the not donkey bit on the animal.
Yeah, why was he on some like
That's
Star
so
Wars
slug.
slug?
And then the stormtroopers were on
Space
speed.
slug.
Do you really think that you can get to the ship?
He was
He was
riding
just
on some
literally
space.
almost
He was
there.
riding on some
Almost made
space
it.
slug, and then the
Oh.
stormtroopers were some speeders. And
No,
you
but
think
you
he
remember
goes,
the robot? Yeah, why if he came out in time, he could have just shot them.
IG-11,
Before.
yeah.
But
That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought because he built the robot, he restored the same robot that was shot in episode 1 and scrambled. He got rebuilt by Quill, this Ugnaught character who befriends the Mandalorian early on in the season, and he repairs him to be almost like a sort of protector and friend.
yeah.
And you think that he would probably be able to step in and save Quill, but it wasn't to be.
He should
But
be
he does
guarding the
How do you know
sacrifice
he
his.
wasn't just? How do you know he didn't just watch?
No.
no.
He should be guarding the
No,
ship.
no,
no,
because
because
watch.
Well, how I know is
No.
because he sacrificed his life for
Yeah.
everyone by the end, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe to
So
make
he
up for the
knew.
fact that he watched Cool Die.
And Quill
Sith
reprogrammed,
Lord, Sith Lord,
Quill
Darth
both-
Tiani.
reprogrammed him. So
Exactly.
Very true.
You know. So I think there was a lot of stuff to love in season 1. We loved it. What we didn't love is having to wait so long to watch it because it came out in America long before the UK
Yeah.
because of the whole licensing. But we won't go there, right? But we are currently in season 2. We're at 3 episodes in. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I think it's like quite good how they're more rapidly starting to bring in like aspects from the different Star Wars movies, like how you
TV
have
shows.
like you've had different Mandalorians in it. There was the what do you call it, the one with the frog woman, and you see Baby Yoda's like
He
a
in
little
the
toddler,
air.
like
He's-
in the
he's
air,
like
yeah.
and those space spiders.
Yeah.
See, we
That's
found
fine,
it
it's fine.
funny because toddlers, they shove everything in their mouth. Babies don't have any sense of right and wrong. They just eat whatever's there.
Yeah.
There was apparently on the internet so many people got offended and upset that Baby Yoda was eating the eggs. I think because the frog lady says the last of her kind, the last chance for her species. But I think they also made it clear that the eggs weren't fertilized. So so Baby Yoda wasn't eating, you know, creatures. Yet the same people complain will eat chicken and stuff from the shops. They, you know, most people aren't. Not everyone's a vegetarian. And this is a baby, for crying out loud. So he has an excuse. He don't know any better. And I guess it was played for laughs, and it was funny in a dark, sort of humorous way. And people took it way too far. The first episode, of course, you were on Tattooine again. Everything's on Tatooine. But you had the crate dragon, the first creature reference in the original Star Wars. You know when Obi-Wan makes that noise to scare off the sand. This is the actual creature that he was imitating. You know, going full geek now.
He speak. The Mandalorian was like speaking.
Yeah, Seeking Tusken Raider. But I mean, so you saw the creature, the crate dragon that has often been referred to in Star Wars, but first time seen.
People got eaten trying
Yeah.
to kill that
I
one.
would have been running.
And the thing is, it's not even like
It's
they
so
seem like
slow.
they were upset. The people were just getting bitten off one by one. They would just continue. They're like, we're not stopping until we kill it.
And because their plan was to put the animal there, need the animal.
They ate the
But
guy.
they ate the guy.
I can't feel
Bad
bad for
luck.
the guy who had the Boba Fett's armor because then if someone else bad comes, he won't
there's
have
no
any protection.
So essentially, Mandalorian is looking for other Mandalorians, and he gets led on a tip-off to Tatooine, and he goes to this out-of-town village. It's not Mos Eisley, and he finds a guy dressed in Mandalorian armor. Of course, this is where it gets exciting. We recognise the armor straight away of being the one that belongs to one infamous bounty hunter, Mr. Boba Fett. Last seen being munched by the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi. Clearly not, because it was only this guy. And of course he's very lanky and the suit doesn't fit the armour, so we know it's not Boba. But the exciting thing is if the suit survived, then maybe Mr. Fett survived. So that was a nice bit of confirmation that Boba Fett got out of the Sarlacc pit.
But wasn't he actually like his son at the end of the episode?
Yes, you obviously spot the surprise.
Oh.
Sith Lord, remember I said that? So, you know, using the dark side of the Force. So eventually we get to the end of the movie, like Eva mentioned, Cobb Vanth is his name. the marshal on on Tattooine, who kindly, after making a deal with Mando, gave up the Mandalorian armor
But that's
for him
kind
to
of
take.
it's kind of a bit silly because, like, imagine if there's another one of these type of creatures.
They have a choice because Mando
Or
could
like
have killed
if
him.
or if you see those people that they killed off before, imagine if more of them
Tusken
come
Raiders.
back, then they're done.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I don't think
Or
they'll
if those
come
people,
back.
or if the sand people want to break their promise.
I don't think they'll come back
Yeah.
because he blew up the there because they were trying to get away. Then he did that, and then the rocket thing, launcher thing from his back shot.
Yeah.
So I don't think
But I think we're going to see Cobb Vanth, the Marshal, again. I think
Yeah.
you're going to see him crop up again. And the good thing is, at the very end, you had a little cameo from Boba Fett himself, the actor Tamora Morrison, showing up, obviously with his face showing, looking over, seeing his armour getting carted off. So I've got a feeling you're going to hopefully see Boba Fett again. And maybe, and to be honest, maybe he won't. Maybe he will have his own TV spin-off, and that's just a little hint to say Boba Fett's around. But he's still got to get the armour off of Commando.
But if they wanted to, well, you see how you said that he's not actually a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But if he had the Mandalorian armor back, then couldn't they say that he's the Mandalorian?
Oh, like he could take over.
Yeah, because it doesn't necessarily need to be the main Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Because it's called the Mandalorian. It's not specific because it's not like I'm saying thingy thing, the Mandalorian. It's
But this leads us into episode 3. Oh no, we can't do episode 3 yet. We're going to do that next time. Because you might see some other Mandalorians who are very well known to the saga crop up. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows the future? Wink, wink. So where it ended for us was in episode 2 of season 2 was Frog Lady had to get her eggs to somewhere where they can Mandalorian drops her off so he can continue search for Mandalorians. They get into some bother on a nice planet with some funky spiders.
Oh yeah.
You think they're about to be done, and then a couple of X-Wing pilots that they saw earlier on. One of them is Dave Filoni, the legend. George Lucas is a Padawan learner who directed the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, and created characters or co-created characters such as Ahsoka Tano with George. He's kind of like the heir to Lucas Empire, really. He has a little cameo as an X-Wing pilot, which is quite fun. And, you know, they basically say, yeah, Mando, you've done some bad stuff, but you've also done some good stuff. You looked after one of our boys in season 1, where helping him off from stopping him getting killed by some ruthless gangsters, etc. So we're good, we'll help you. We blasted the nasty big spiders off your ship. We ain't going to help you. The ship juices by. They took off back on their X-Wing, and Mando had to patch up his busted up ship. Is that a
They
pretty
did a
good
really
recap?
great job though, did they? Patching up that ship. I think they could have done a better job, don't you think?
Well, he did it alone in episode 2.
Yeah.
What happens in episode 3, we'll have to talk about another day.
Yeah.
Because this video will be never ending. It will be like a whole season in and of itself. So that was The Mandalorian, a little recap of season 1, and a little mini review of episodes 1 and 2. What have you given the episodes so far out of date? Episode 1 of season 2 and episode 2 out of 10.
Episode
Probably give it about like 7.5/8.
Okay.
probably a 8.
Yeah.
Probably a 7.
I'll say 8.
I would give episode 1 an 8. What about the frog lady episode?
What about
The frog
I would
lady
give it
is
higher if it wasn't for the fact there were so many spiders because you just think for itchy.
Yeah.
yeah. Just so you know, frog lady, Mando has to do a job.
It's literally like an actual frog
literally
woman.
the
Like,
frog
we're not
woman.
saying that a woman looks like a frog. Like, it's like a humanoid
You're literally
walking
just
frog
like-
woman that has like eggs in like some
She
pot.
speaks a different
It's
language.
like some glass
Yeah.
pot
She
thing,
can walk like a
incubator.
frog as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, she
They'll
jumps.
Don't leave your eggs by Baby Yoda. It's like
Yeah.
leaving the cookies near to your little toddler. Not a good move. I'd give episode 1
And 2.
a 1. I'd give an 8. Episode 2, I'd give a 7 point. No, I'd give episode 1 8.5. Episode 2 7.5. Episode 2 was good. It was fun. Obviously, it was great what we saw, and it was directed by Peyton Reed, the director of Ant-Man 1 and 2, so that was fun. Some fun little references there. But, I don't know, I like to see characters that are more significant and meaningful.
Yeah.
So I can't knock it for being a bit of a side quest, because it was entertaining, but I can't give it the top marks either. Yeah. Did you give your episode 2 review?
Oh,
The score, rather?
I think I'll give it about a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
7.
Probably 7.5.
5.
Probably 6.
6.
7.
7. Cool. So, not bad out of 10. 7. Again, I was a bit more generous, 7.5. Episode 1, 8.5. I think so far that's kind of good numbers. It could creep up a little bit, because sometimes the first couple of episodes seem quite, not much going on. Then you find out later in the season they set up some really important things, and the value of those episodes goes up a little bit. That happened a lot in season 1, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
But we are loving Mandalorian season 2. It's still continuing that kind of level as season 1. Again, still a lot more enjoyable than the sequel trilogy films have been. I'm more inclined to go back and revisit the first season of Mandalorian than to see any of the sequel movies. I know, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so it does break my heart. Anakin, you're breaking my heart. I've gone down a path that you probably can't follow. But that is our Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 1 recap, brief overview, and Season 1 and 2 mini review. We will be back for other episodes. We might do it 2 at a time like this, right? Yeah. For other episodes in the season. In the meantime, what did you think of The Mandalorian? Do you think it's the greatest thing to ever hit Star Wars? Or do you think it's slow and not really that interesting? Whatever your thoughts, comment below, let us know, and we'll have a fight. Will be Jedi versus Sith, Empire versus Rebels, or Mandalorians. They look cool with that T-visor. And we will see you next time on It's the Aris Asulas. Thanks for watching It's the Aris Asulas. We've had a lot of fun making the programme. We had a lot of fun doing this channel. If you like what you see, you know what? Be part of our extended family, our tribe, so to speak. Press the bell, and we'll see you real soon.
Take care, guys.